Today on the Trent Out Loud podcast. I think no one's going to agree with me because nobody ever does. I think people are pretending to like chocolate. What up? It's your boy, Trent Out Loud, and I'm back with another episode. All right, it's Monday morning, fresh off the weekend. I am rested. I hope you guys had a great weekend and you are ready for the week ahead. And before we start the week, I got a good show set up for you guys today. All right, I got 4 lead stories for you guys today. We got some Canadian news. A man in Calgary smacks a little girl after she allegedly bullies his son. Then in our second lead story, we're going to talk about Donald Trump thinking he looks better than Kamala Harris. Then in our third lead story, Kamala Harris announces her first policy. And then we have some Jordan Chiles update. As you guys know, she's the Olympian that got her bronze medal stripped away. Then in quick news, we're going to talk about Nicki Minaj, Donald Trump supporters thinking that he is going to be a dictator and celebrating it. Joe Biden, a giant asteroid that's heading towards the Earth. Mr. Bean losing a huge amount of followers. And then to close out quick news, we're going to talk about Knowles just discovering yesterday that Beyonce's song Ego was about not someone's ego. Then we're going to jump into question of the day, and then we're going to close out with a little bit of sports news. Y'all know what time it is. Turn your TVs, your radio, or your devices up. I'm about to start this show. Let's go. Man in Calgary smacks little girl after she allegedly bullied his son. All right, this is over in Calgary. I got this from Real City News, Real Toronto News blog, and this is coming out of Calgary, and this is what the Calgary police has tweeted out, and they're looking for help to identify and find this man. I do have a video of the smack, which is hard to watch, so I'm going to put a little trigger warning for those who are watching it on Spotify or on YouTube. But before I play the video, I will read out what the Calgary police has tweeted out asking for help. We are asking the public's help to identify a man who is believed to be responsible for assaulting a child in the city's northeast. Approximately 8:15 p.m. on Tuesday, July 30th, 2024, we were called to Paris Winds Park located at 223 Chester Ridge Boulevard, Northeast, for reports of a physical altercation between a man and a 12-year-old girl. It is believed that the man verbally confronted the victim after an interaction happened on a playground between his son and the victim. The verbal altercation escalated and the man struck the victim. The victim was assessed by EMS and was determined to have minor injuries. She was transported home after attending to officers, after the officers attended to her. This is a disgusting story. We do not obviously condone anybody bullying anybody, because this 12-year-old girl was bullying this man's son, and he looks a lot younger than 12 years old. He looks around 5 or 6 years old. So this child was definitely not in the right. However, we never have an adult laying their hands on a child under any circumstances. Like, I feel like disgusted watching this video. Again, like I said, I am putting a disclaimer for those who don't want to see, skip this video that I'm about to play. But for those of you who do want to see it, here it is.
You can't say that to my son. You can't say. You can't say that one to my son, okay?
Okay, bye-bye.
Again, like I can't for the life of me understand how an adult would want to do that to a child. I understand wanting to protect your son, but under no circumstance, even if your child is bleeding, whatever, like, you cannot hit a 12-year-old child. I would definitely, make sure that she's not going to run away. I would apprehend her or whatever, or have somebody, hold her, and, you call the police, you call her parents, or you do something. But I just think this story is absolutely crazy that this big grown adult man would slap this little girl. If any of you guys have any, I know, my Montreal and Toronto listeners, But we do have listeners all over Canada and, of course, the US. There's reports that this guy has maybe fled Calgary. So I just want to put this out there. If anybody has any information, please email me, trend@cfqr600.com. Comment below this email, comment below this video, or send me a DM at any of my social handles at Trend Out Loud, even at the production company Exo City Media. Let's find this guy. Let's get him arrested. Let's put him in jail. Do your part. Anybody knows any information about this, or if you know he's even been captured, just let us know. Send us an email, comment below, or send me a DM. All right, in our second lead story, Donald Trump continues Kamala Harris' personal attacks as promised, and now claims he's much better looking than her. As you guys know, last week, I think I may have talked about it on Thursday or Wednesday, that Donald Trump feels like he has the right to have personal attacks, even though there's people in his own party that says, hey, listen, you have a lot to run on. You guys, we have policies that are very different from Kamala and Joe Biden's. Focus on the economy, focus on everything else. But he said that he feels like he has a right to personally attack her, and he promises to continue. Anyways, as promised, former President Donald Trump continues his personal attack against Vice President Kamala Harris, now claiming, I'm much better looking than her. Trump has always voiced his unsavory opinion about his opponents, and when President Joe Biden stepped back and exited the 2024 presidential race, endorsing his vice president, Trump continued to target his opponent, but he's been taking very particular shots as of late. After continuously attacking Kamala Harris's race and ethnic background, Trump Republican allies like Trump White House aide Peter Novikov and former Republican presidential candidate Victor Ramaswamy, I'm not pronouncing that right, sorry, are begging him to cease the attacks against the Democratic nominee and instead shift his focus to his opponent's policies versus racially and ethnically attacking her. However, during the press conference in Bedminster, New Jersey on Thursday, August 15th, Trump said he's not stopping as he feels entitled to personal attacks. On Saturday, August 17th, during a rally in Pennsylvania, Donald Trump continued his personal attacks against Kamala Harris. While on stage, the 2024 Republican presidential nominee, Donald Trump, mentioned a political commentator claiming that the Democratic presidential nominee, Kamala Harris, had an advantage over him because she's a very beautiful woman. Firing back, Trump said, I'd say that I'm much better looking than her. That was my Trump imitation, by the way. I think I'm much better looking than her. With the crowd roaring and more, Trump yells, I'm much better looking than Kamala, reiterating the comments to the person asking the question. And he also went on to say, I never thought of that. I'm much better looking than she is. Moments before these comments, Trump again mentioned Harris's Time magazine cover, claiming the publication could have found a much better photo of the VP and had an artist sketch her. However, weeks ago, he claimed that Harris favored his wife, former First Lady Melania Trump. All right, here's a little clip, and then I'll talk to you about what I think about it after. Here's a little clip of Donald Trump.
She said Kamala has one big advantage. She's a very beautiful woman, but I say that I am much better looking than her. I'm a better looking person than Kamala.
See, my imitation was pretty right, huh? Like pretty good, huh? Like, I'm much better looking than her. If you guys also noticed, he said Kamala. I don't know if you guys knew that on CNN, I think it was on Thursday night, where Michael Eric Dyson and another somebody else attacked Nancy Mace for not pronouncing Kamala Harris's name right, and that went super viral. So I think maybe now he's like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to actually pronounce her name right. Anyways, before I close out this story, this is exactly what I was saying last week when Trump was on Twitter with Elon Musk. And I was like, man, it's pretty boring. We don't have any anything to really talk about. He talked about policies and he didn't really say anything that's causing any backlash or viral moments or whatever. And then lo and behold, on Saturday, he does this. I keep telling you guys that he does things like this on purpose to put his name in the headlines, but his supporters get riled up the more and more we talk and we bash him or we make him go viral. That's what makes him so popular. So I understand I'm not doing my part by not talking about it and just ignoring him, but this is what has made Donald Trump Donald Trump. Oh, I'm better looking than her. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Like, it makes him seem more real to his followers. I know this because every time I post anything on our production page on social media, there's always Trump followers that are like, that's what we like about Trump. He's a regular person. He's just like one of us. Like, the more non-political Donald Trump is, the more his base gets riled up, and the more I think he actually gets some independent voters because they feel like Washington is broken. They don't trust politicians. So the more he seems regular and talks like us and has clips like this, the more following, or the bigger the following he gets, and people admire him for that. So, call it what it is. You hate it. Sometimes I hate it, but it normalizes him, and that's what riles up his base, and that's why he got elected in 2016, and that's the reason why he might get elected back in 2024. All right, in our third lead story, keeping it political, Vice President Kamala Harris pledges to expand the child tax credit if elected president, and she also announces a support for food gouging ban. Vice President Kamala Harris wants to help families keep cash in their pockets if elected president. During a rally, Vice President, hey, see, I'm already thinking positively. Vice President Kamala Harris pledged to expand the child tax credit if elected. She said, "We will provide $6,000 in tax relief to families during the first year of the child's life." In addition, she announced that she would work to pass a first ever federal ban on price gouging on food. Another incentive she's offering, in short, is a $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers. I have a little clip. Take a listen.
Work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gouging on food. My plan will include new penalties for opportunistic companies that exploit crises and break the rules. And we will support smaller food businesses that are trying to play by the rules and get ahead.
She meant to say price gouging, not gauging. But I love this. A lot of people have gotten on Kamala Harris for not talking to the press and not doing interviews. I do want her to do some interviews like everybody else, but I can understand that her and her team needed some time to figure out what her policies were going to be, right? Normally you have, months and months and months to determine if you're going to run for president of the United States. Then you go through primaries, you set out what your agenda will be, and then you run on that. Kamala Harris was just the vice president until like 3 weeks ago, where it was like, hey, President Biden is stepping down, and now she's going to run. And she hit out right on the trail. And while she was on the trail, she was getting her policies in order. And I think that's the reason why she hasn't taken any interviews, because it's like, okay, we know who you are, who Kamala Harris is, but what are your policies? And I think she needed time to figure what that is going to be. So I'm happy that she has rolled out at least those three. I'm sure we'll hear more. There is going to be the Democratic National Convention all this week. You guys know I'll be covering that, so stay tuned all week for updates for that. It's going to be huge. Everyone's going to be there. Barack Obama, like everybody from the Democratic Party. It's going to be a big week. So that's why I'm sure she's rolling this out now, and I'm sure we'll hear more. And she will definitely take interviews after the DNC. But I love this. Of course, I like the child tax credit. But what I really love is the price gouging. And if you guys heard at the end of that clip, they're going to reward small businesses that play by the rules. So I do love this as a Canadian, because as you guys know, when things are implemented in the US, it normally rolls out into Canada a couple of months after, right? They go through a financial crisis. We end up going through a financial crisis. We are so tied to the US. It's ridiculous. As much as you might not want to admit that, we are, they say when the US sneezes, Canada catches a cold, right? So, because the price of food is definitely affecting everybody everywhere. I don't care where you are in the world. Like, it's nuts. Like, I literally just went to the hardware store the other day. I know this is not food, but I went to get an electrical cord. It was $50. Like, I actually refused to buy it. Like, back in the day, an electrical cord will cost you $15, $20. This is an outdoor electrical cord, but these companies are taking advantage. We know that things went up during COVID because of travel and all that stuff, but the prices have not come back down, and we have no pandemic. It's ridiculous. So I definitely like this price gouging thing, and I definitely hope it gets implemented when she gets in and this rolls over into Canada, because the prices for things are crazy. All right, in our fourth lead story, a little small update on Jordan Chiles. The U.S. is taking the fight for Jordan Chiles Bronze medal to court. The 2024 Olympics might be over, but the fight for Team USA seems to be just getting started. New details have emerged surrounding the controversy with Jordan Chiles Bronze medal and the fight against Romania, including the fact that the president of the CAS panel is a lawyer and currently on the Romanian payroll as a counselor. This is crazy. It keeps on just getting worse and worse and worse. TMZ News correspondent A.B. Burns is breaking down the details with the U.S.'s plan, what the U.S. plans to do about it. All right, I don't have enough time to play all of that, what's going on, but I just want to give you guys an update. We do know that Flavor Flav gave Jordan Chiles a bronze clock, which everybody was talking about last week. And we do know, I did read you guys her statement, I think it was last week, Friday or Thursday, that, she definitely doesn't like all the racial, slurs that are being thrown her way and the attacks that's going on, but she is down with the U.S. to fight. We will see what's going on. Now we find out that there was somebody on the panel that was a lawyer. He shouldn't be there. We'll see what's going on. For those of you who don't remember, quickly, I'll remind you, Jordan Chiles, they gave her a score. The U.S., Romania fought it. Then the U.S. appealed it. The U.S. won the appeal, but then Romania was like, hey, they may have won their appeal, but they didn't do it within their 1 minute time frame. It was 1 minute and 4 seconds, which is ridiculous for 4 seconds. But then the U.S. submitted video evidence that they appealed in 47 seconds, but apparently how the appeal processes work is that you can't appeal on top of an appeal on top of an appeal. So even though the U.S. has the proof and the evidence, they're like, well, sorry, you can't appeal on top of appeal. So it's just actually ridiculous. It was ridiculous, the fact that the 4 seconds was off, and then now the fact that you can't appeal an appeal. So I feel confident that somewhere, somehow, Jordan will get her medal. People are saying, why don't the Olympics just give both of them a bronze and just stop this whole argument? We'll see what happens. As you guys know, we will definitely report and keep you guys up to date on what happens with Jordan Chiles. All right, this brings us to quick news. Ring my bell. Nicki Minaj settles lawsuits against social media personality who accused her of substance abuse. Nicki Minaj has settled her 2022 lawsuit with social media personality who made accusations against her that she used drugs. According to TMZ TV, the settlement called for Marley Green, aka Nosy, maybe think it's Nosy Hose, to apologize for her false statements about Nicki Minaj. If you recall, Green posted a video claiming Nicki Minaj was shoving all this cocaine up her nose. Reports state that Green acknowledged the comments she said about Nicki Minaj using cocaine were false after she never made any evidence about Nicki using cocaine or any other drug apparent to anybody. Nicki also claimed in her lawsuit that Green made vile comments about her and she wanted her to stop. Per the settlement, Green agreed to never mention Nicki's child or say anything about Nicki using cocaine again. In addition, she cannot retweet any comments about Nicki or do anything illegal or unethical. If Green breaches contract, she will have to pay Nicki Minaj $50,000. You guys can form your own opinion about this. I think that she got off easy. You can't make accusations like that about somebody on a forum and then be like, okay, I'm just never going to do it again, because people take that information and just run with it. So I remember when this broke in room was like, oh yeah, Nicki Minaj is a crackhead. Like, So like people don't hear this part of it, right? They only hear the front end of it. That's like when Cardi B sued that I can't remember who it was. Anyway, she had to like pay a couple of $1 million. Like if you're saying false accusations that you know are false, I think the penalty should be more severe, but that's just my opinion. And our second lead story, Trump supporters wear t-shirts declaring Donald Trump will be a dictator on day one. Okay, this is actually really a quick story. There's no like details or write-up about this, but I think this was maybe at his rally on the weekend. I'm going to put these pictures up on my YouTube and on the video. So if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, you'll see it. But you literally have people wearing t-shirts and it says dictator and it has Donald Trump's picture on there. And he looks like he's in like this army kind of outfit with all these medals on it. And it says day one at the bottom. So dictator at day one. And people are literally like have their thumbs up like, yes, I am proud to wear these t-shirts. Again, this is what I'm trying to tell you about Donald Trump supporters. They don't want him to be ethical. They don't want him to be political. They want him to be this crazy guy. That's why he goes and he says these things about Kamala or about Joe Biden or about anybody else, because that's what his followers want from him. They want him to be a dictator. They want him to be crazy, and they literally just want to follow him. Like that is Donald Trump's supporters. Love them or hate them. That's who he's getting to vote for him. And with the Electoral College, that's why he has a chance of winning. It's not the popular vote, which I think it should be, but that's a whole other conversation for a whole other day. If you remember, in 2016, Hillary Clinton got, I think it was 3 or 4 million more votes than Trump, but you're not elected by the popular vote. You're elected by the electoral vote, and Trump knows that. And this, I don't want to say he's smart, but he knows what he's doing. All right, in our third quick story, President Biden designates the site of the 1908 race riot a national monument. On August the 16th, President Biden signed a proclamation designation for the rights of the 1908 race riot. This week would have marked the 116th anniversary of the 1908 race riot. In August 1908, white mobs attacked the city of Springfield, Illinois, rioting, looting, and attacking Black-owned businesses and residents. These riots resulted in deaths, some of the form of lynching. President Biden said, over 100 years ago this week, a mob not far from Lincoln's home unleashed a race riot in Springfield that literally shocked the nation. These riots serves as a catalyst for important steps into the civil rights movement, including the form of the National Association of Advancement for Colored People, the NAACP. This marks the 8th addition to the national park system during the Biden and Harris administration. I have a little video. Take a listen.
We are here because President Biden has designated the newest national site. It is the site of the 1908 Springfield race riot. That site is the creation of NAACP in 1909.
For 2 days, white supremacist mobs attacked Black people in Springfield. They would not relent. And yet, the fact that this was happening in the birthplace of President Lincoln shocked the nation.
Thank you, President Biden and Kamala Harris. All right, in our fourth quick story, a giant asteroid to fly close to Earth last night. Well, a giant asteroid flew last night. And according to NASA, another asteroid double its size could be close to the Earth tonight, Monday night. So y'all be careful out there. A 290-foot asteroid will pass the Earth. Sorry, I got this on Sunday, so that's why the tenses are a little bit wrong. But it passed close to the Earth Saturday night. And a 620-foot asteroid will fly even closer to the Earth Monday night, today. An asteroid 460 feet or larger could destroy a city, while a 1,000-foot asteroid could devastate a continent. Wow. NASA claims Monday's asteroid potentially dangerous, but neither is expected to hit the Earth. So, if you guys have any telescopes out there, anybody who watches out for these things, but if you do hear anything rocking anywhere. I don't know where they say in the world it could happen, but it might not be an earthquake. It could be an asteroid hitting the earth. All right, in our fifth quick story, Mr. Beast's YouTube channel sees drastic drop in viewership, projected loss of $70,000. Sorry, $700,000. Projected losses of $700,000. According to statistics from ViewStat, Mr. Beast's main channel has seen 153 million less views than the previous 28-day period. He's also received 11 million, sorry, my numbers are off today, 12 million less subscribers than last month. And the suffering is projected to have him lose close to $700,000. I think, I don't remember, I think it was last week or the week before, I told you guys about Mr. Beast, an old video of him calling somebody the N-word and saying that he wouldn't buy a black person for $300. He thinks that's too much money. There was also somebody that was, I think, a partner on his channel or a co-host that had some, I don't know if it was trans issues or made a trans comment. I can't remember, but in the span of like a week, he had a couple of, things that went viral about him that obviously weren't too good. I think maybe his co-host was like a child. Anyways, I can't remember what it was. But when that first happened, you really didn't see anything really happening. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to wonder, because he's not on a network, right? He can't get fired. He doesn't work at ABC or NBC where they'll fire him. When you own your own IP, when you're on YouTube, it's just, it's up to your viewers if they want to stop watching. And now we can see the backlash is coming through, and he's lost close to $1 million since that happened in the past 28 days. So we will see what happens. Maybe this is a dip and he'll come back out. I think he should come out and apologize or say something about it. Hey, this was happened, 15 or 20 years ago. That's an old video, something. He chooses to just ignore it. Maybe he knows what he's doing. I mean, he does have a big team, but for those Mr. Beast fans out there, he is definitely losing a lot of viewership. All right, in our sixth and final quick story, this is actually really funny. Tina Knowles says she just discovered the meaning behind Beyonce's song Ego. All right, how do I say this? Ego is not ego, but it is a male, I could say this, I think, on the radio. It's male genitalia, all right? So Beyonce's song was, he got a big ego. It's a play on words, right? I love him for his big ego, but Beyonce's song could play on the radio because she goes, I love his big ego, but it was really about a man's genitalia. So Beyonce's mom wrote this, I think it was last night, Sunday night. She goes, wow, I just realized that she wasn't actually talking about an ego. Oh my. I'm serious. I really didn't know till now. That's crazy. Really? Maybe not. Anyways, what y'all think? So I don't know if she's just trolling or what, but it does sound like, because this was all over the blogs the other day. So, I mean, maybe her mom, whatever, she's older. Maybe she just thought she just loves a guy with a big ego. Like, who knows? But you guys let me know. Did you guys know that Beyonce's song, Ego, I'm going to play a little clip of it actually, or maybe I'll actually play the song on CFQR, but I'll play a little clip of it on YouTube for those of you who don't remember. Actually, here it is. Take a listen. You got a big ego. Let me know if you guys knew what that song was about. Send me an email, trenoutloud@cfqr600.com, comment below, or send me a DM at any of my social handles. All right, this brings us to question of the day. What food do you swear people only pretend to like? I thought this was actually really funny because I do have a food I'll tell you at the end, but I swear I have the best one. All right, Janice Ocho said octopus. Why would you think people pretend to like octopus? And by the way, octopus is amazing. You definitely have to have it prepared a certain way. I've never had octopus just like straight out the fridge. You definitely have to have it seasoned nicely, but I love octopus. It's very expensive, but I love it. And if you don't know, if you want to know a crazy stat that's actually not important, Stedman, Oprah's husband, actually eats octopus every morning. Crazy. Ray Daniels said watermelons are terrible. Who's pretending to like watermelons, bro? I mean, I don't love watermelons, but I don't think people pretend to like it. Somebody said oysters. Somebody said I never tried. Sorry, the person said I never tried it, but I never will. This I can understand because oysters are horrible, but I think something like oysters is like it's like a delicatessen, and it's like you don't want to say you don't like it, but it's just like it's a nice restaurant. Oh, I'll have oysters, and it makes you kind of feel good, but you don't necessarily love it. I do have a friend of mine that swears by oysters, and again, it's the sauce and the seasoning and the horseradish and stuff that you put on it. But I understand the oysters thing. Somebody else said raw clams or oysters. Again, I agree. Somebody said food I don't know about, but Henny is the real answer. I'm not a big Henny fan, but I don't think I think some people could pretend because marketing wise, everybody Hennessy is the, drink of all the drinks. So I could see people kind of following the trend, like how when Cavassier, can't remember how you pronounce it, but Cavassier was the big thing. Ciroc used to be the big thing. So I do see when something is in like videos or trending, or now everybody is drinking Casamigos, I do see how somebody could not love it, but because you're in a club and everybody, is like, oh my gosh, I have Casamigos, I could see that. Somebody said tofu. I don't know if people pretend to like tofu, but I think maybe people who are vegetarians are like, yo, I don't necessarily love it, but I know it's better for me because I don't want to eat meat. Somebody said raw oysters. Banana. Somebody said banana flavored anything. What? Yo, banana is amazing. I have a banana every morning. Somebody said coconut. Coconuts are amazing. Bloody Marys. 100% agree with that because Bloody Marys are horrible. But I could see somebody like my dad loving Bloody Marys because he does like tomato juice. And he does like a lot of seasoned stuff. So Bloody Mary is tomato, alcohol, and like a pepper kind of flavor. Caviar is another thing like oysters. I can agree where it's like you don't necessarily love the taste, but it's rich and it makes you feel cool when you're at a restaurant. So I could see where we're going with that. Somebody else said beets, escargot. No, escargot is amazing. Don't front on that. The garlic with the cheese. Again, these are just carriers. Somebody said lamb chops. All right, here's mine. Somebody said uncooked. Okay, no. All right, I'll tell you guys mine. I think no one's going to agree with me because nobody ever does. I think people are pretending to like chocolate. Bro, chocolate is not all that great. Especially dark chocolate. It's bitter. It's gross. Caramel is way better. But again, something like oysters and mussels and all that stuff. Like, sorry, not mussels because mussels are dope. But oysters, I get. Or like escargot. Like chocolate, because it's society has said for years and years and years, oh, women love chocolate on Valentine's Day. Like, I don't really believe everybody that likes chocolate actually really loves it. And again, I'm more talking about like the real, like the dark chocolate, because that is just nasty. But I think people, it's a cool thing to like. Caramel is 10,000 million times better. Shout out to all my caramel lovers out there. All right, this brings us to sports news. I'm running low on time, so I got to do this one quickly. This is about Noah Lyles. He keeps beefing with the NBA and also with Tyreek Hill, wide receiver for the Dolphins on the NFL. So he's beefing with NFL guys and NBA guys. Anyways, Carmelo Anthony was on a podcast and he says, why does he keep taking shots at the NBA? If you want to shoot at the fact that y'all ain't got a league of your own. Shoot at why they aren't pouring money into that sport, which they should, but don't compare them to us. That is because Noah Lyles, I think it was last Olympics, he was like, how can you call the NBA the world champions? The world of what? The United States? I'm sure most of you have seen that clip a million times. So he doesn't believe that the NBA should call themselves world champions because they're just in the US, but that makes no sense because the best players in all the world try to go to the US. There's no league that comes close, so that's why they call themselves the world champions. If they didn't allow people from Canada or from Europe or from Greece in the league, then I would understand if you're all Americans, but the league is open, so you can call yourself the world champions. Anyways, Noah Lyles is just a hater. And also, I have something that he said about Tyreek Hill because he wants to race Tyreek Hill. Where is this? So he thinks, Tyreek Hill said that he could beat Noah Lyles, and Noah Lyles was like, yo, at any time, let's go. So this was from the Bleacher Report, and they got this from the Nightcap. Shout out to Shannon Sharp and Ocho Cinco. And Noah Lyles says, this man is dodging smoke. If he's truly serious about it, not just talking about it, come and see me on the track. And then Tyreek Hill said, sign the contract and lock in the 100-yard race. 100 yards is not necessarily 50 yards is not necessarily 100 meters, but it's, I think, around close to that area. But I would love to see them race. I actually don't think Tyreek Hill can beat Noah Lyles. I mean, I know Tyreek Hill is fast. I call him the cheetah, but I don't think he can beat Noah Lyles, but I would love to see him get beat. Trust me. And definitely in 2018, the world's fastest man and the gold medal for the 100 meters will come back to Jamaica where it is rightfully deserved. Anyways, that is my time. Thank you all for kicking with me. I hope you enjoyed the show. Like I said, stay tuned. Keep it locked. All this week, I will be covering the DNC National Convention and letting you know everything that's happening with Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, and everything that's going on. As you guys know, I'm super happy to hear from Barack Obama again. Michelle Obama. It's going to be an exciting week for political news. So definitely stay tuned all week for that. You know, Donald Trump's going to have a lot of stuff to say, so we're going to get some viral moments. Before I let you go, just want to remind you of all the ways to keep up with the show. If you're used to watching this show on YouTube or podcast platforms, please try to check me out weekdays from Monday to Friday on CFQR600.com. We do play the Trend Out Loud podcast, but we mix it in with 90s and 2000s hip hop and R&B. It's a great way to break up your day from 11 to 12 to get your entertainment and viral news. You could listen to it from any device anywhere in the world. Just go to CFQR600.com, hit that listen live button, and you will be tuned in. Or if you're in the Montreal area, it is 600 a.m. on your radio. Vice versa, if you're used to listening to this podcast on CFQR 600 and you can't always catch us from 11 to 12, don't worry. You can always catch every show on YouTube or podcast platforms. Just go to your desired site, type in Trend Out Loud, the show will pop up. Don't forget to hit the follow and subscribe button so you can be notified every time we upload a new show. And if you're like me and you like video, if you like to watch your podcast with video, Spotify now supports video, so you can go to Spotify. If you ask me, it's a better way of watching video than YouTube. If you're on your phone and you get a call or you want to do something else on the app, with YouTube, the app closes. On Spotify, it stays open and you could do other things while you're still watching the Trend Out Loud podcast. All right. And also keep up to date with me on Instagram or any social platforms, Trend Out Loud and production company Exclusivity Media. I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a great day. Thanks again for tuning in. Peace. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It's your boy, Trend Out Loud. Peace.